You're listening to the Night Demon Network. Go to nightdemon.net/subscriber to unlock more exclusive content.
Hello and welcome to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast. I'm your host Nesbit, and Empire's Fall, the first single released by Night Demon in 2020, is a scathing take on the music industry. It was spurred on by some shakeups at Night Demon's record label. But the song actually had a long history dealing with multiple topics and different themes before it finally became the song we all know today. This is Empire's Fall Part 2. So, like we mentioned in last episode, and not to get too deep into it again, but this song deals with the state of record labels in today's music industry, and it kind of questions their relevance in, today's scene. Here's the members of Night Demon: Dusty, Jarvis, and Armand.
At the time, our record company, Century Media Sony, was going through a terrible shakeup.
I think these companies are figuring out ways to make money either way, and they're going to continue to do that, and they're going to merge with other companies, and they're going to try to find ways to stay alive.
Now they're all suffering. They've all folded, and they've all been bought by one or two companies, and our label is an example of that.
And all of a sudden stuff happens. There's mergers, there's buyouts. The people that signed you, the people that have believed in you, the people that you've worked with the entire time, all of a sudden they're out of a job. There's and the lyrics to this song really kind of touch on that. It's like when you get to a point where there's no face, there's no name anymore. You're signed to a record company that essentially owns your life, your life's work, your art, what you do for a living, and what your legacy is. And it was off to such a great start for so long. And then through time, it gets to a point where you don't even know who to call anymore. Like, do I call this phone number? Who do I talk to? What's happening over there? Are they going to understand what we've built and what we are still building upon? Are they going to see the vision through the same way that we are? Are they going to be on the same page? Are they going to care at all? You have so many cooks in the kitchen, and you have so many big projects in the same room, and so many smaller labels owned by one big company now. They can't possibly service everything with the care and the focus that it needs. So we felt that we had lost that at the time completely. And fortunately now we've gained that back. But that doesn't mean that didn't happen. And that doesn't mean that this song is not real and it's not authentic to what was really going on at that time.
I guess I'm just so old school that I just look at the 80s and 90s and look at what the record companies were doing then, and just how impactful the major label was back then, but how unimpactful it is now. I think if you have your head on straight and you know how to market yourself, you can put out your own stuff and be successful.
So with that, there's a big power shift that happens, and with us, we're excited about it. We're excited about this time in the music industry. We feel like this is the Wild West. Like anything could happen.
Honestly, like Jarvis knows how to wheel and deal with people on an independent level. So that was always something that in my older bands was kind of lacking, was having somebody who was a good business person inside the band who's a member, So seeing how much we've accomplished based on his knowledge of the business and stuff, it's pretty important for bands to understand and to have somebody in the band that knows the business, because you could definitely get taken for a ride.
Beat down, left the dead, rise up, answer the call. Carry on with the strength to survive, watching as empires fall. Surrounded as empires fall, laughing as empires fall.
So before we get into the history of this song, let's get into the lyrics. So here's Jarvis Leatherby.
The lyrics. First verse and first chorus. Count down. The end has become. Gatekeeper's final stand. Slow death was inevitable. Get out. Run while you can.
Count down, the end has become gatekeeper's final stand. Slow death was inevitable. Get out, run while you can.
Eternally bled for them all, watching as empires fall.
Eternally bled for them all, watching as empires fall.
So this first verse is basically, talking about gatekeepers. You're talking about the record executives that are basically running away because they ran this industry into the ground and they're not making any money. Because a lot of them were, from an artist perspective, were in it for the money and not the artistry. And that's basically what this first verse tackles. Second verse, sold out by the wicked machine. Build to destroy is the game. Revolution, no evolution. A master without a name.
Sold out by the wicked machine, built to destroy is the game. Revolution, no evolution, a master without a name.
So when talking about a revolution, it's like the revolution is the DIY-ness, the artist taking it back for themselves. Many artists are very successful selling stuff independently now because of the rise of technology, and an artist has a lot more reach for free because of the internet. And with the master without a name is basically the way that we felt when all of our people from our label were just gone seemingly overnight. I mean, it was a gradual thing, but a lot of those cuts happened with no warning. And, some people that we worked with were called into work and immediately their email accounts were disconnected and their work phone was taken from them. I mean, shit where like they didn't even get a chance to say goodbye to anybody, to any of their artists that they've worked with for years. Stuff like this, just really, really fucking crazy. And so a master without a name is basically us finding ourselves in a position where we're kind of like, okay, who's running the show over there? Who's our boss now? Who's our master? We have no idea. It's a nameless, faceless person that we have to try and find. We have no contact with, right? And so when we find out who this person is, how do we contact them and introduce ourselves and just kind of say, hi, you're in charge of our life now, basically. That's what that all hints at. The lyrics in this bridge section actually came from the version of the song titled Legion's Attack, which was about social media culture And the lyrics go, turn off the noise, there's nothing left to say. Truth is the answer, the lies come out someday.
Turn off the noise, there's nothing left to say. Truth is the answer, the lies come out someday.
So that originally related to, rumors online that are not true. But I found that those lyrics related directly to what we're talking about with the industry. There's a lot of dishonesty that happens behind the lines about how some of our people were treated, and the truth does come out. The truth always comes out, and we've learned a lot of those harsh truths. And so after the guitar solo, the final chorus: beat down, left for dead, rise up, answer the call, carry on with the strength to survive, watching as empires fall.
Beat down, left for dead, rise up, answer the call. Carry on with the strength to survive, watching as empires fall. Surrounded as empires fall, laughing as empires fall.
It's basically like, hey, let's turn this around. There are still some people at the label. There are, and there's new people, and we're still a band, and we're still contractually obligated here. And this band is our life. So we have to do what we have to do to survive. And yes, we're going to fight, but fighting for no reason doesn't really get you anywhere. And fighting for something, for a battle that you can't win, doesn't always help. So it's better to just not play the game and not just lie down, but, really fight for the things that are important and do the best that we can with the situation that we're given. And that's kind of the wraparound to the song here.
As a side note, if you're like me, you might have listened to the last 3 seconds of this song, trying to figure out if Jarvis is yelling something. Well, here's the isolated vocals. So it's really just a scream, or maybe a battle cry to all the bands out there that maybe went through or are going through the same thing. Or maybe it's just a cool ending to a kick-ass, punk-tinged metal song. Who knows? So Jarvis mentioned Legion's Attack as an earlier working title of this song, but that wasn't the first version of the song at all.
The song started out with just a riff that I had, just the opening. And yeah, it totally evolved from there. I mean, it heavily evolved from there. The song had 4 titles before it was decided on Empire's Fall, and it had 4 different premises. The first one was first version of the song was written about, our fans in Cleveland. The second version was written about Facebook and social media culture. And the third version was written about going to the moon. And then this one, obviously, that stuck about the record industry. So we worked on it for years, and it was really this song, the evolution of this song is insane. There was so many changes that went into this from start to finish.
Yeah, when we wrote this song, I don't know, it really wasn't intended for anything. I guess it was just kind of intended as for the next record, really, pretty early on when we started working on this song. I know, actually, I think there was a plan where we wanted to write it and have it ready for the performance for the live record as the one bonus track would be to debut a new song. And that was also when we had the idea of making the lyrics when the song was about Cleveland and all that, Heart of It All.
We were going to write a song called Heart of It All. We wanted to write a song for the people of Cleveland and for Ohio in general. We were actually talking about it the other day, and I think some of Empire's Fall was a part of that song, and, obviously we didn't want to rush anything.
Yes, originally we did plan to have a new track, an exclusive new song on this live record. And the working title for that song was called The Heart of It All. Interestingly enough, the music that we had written for that song became the music for Empire's Fall. Empire's Fall began as just the instrumental version of the song in late 2017, and the working title was The Heart of It All. We were trying to write a song to include on the live record as kind of like a premiere of a new song. We had an exclusive Night Demon shirt back in the day that said The Heart of It All and had the outline of Ohio for the Ohio fans. And since we were recording the live record in Ohio, we thought, okay, this will be perfect. But it's not that we couldn't get the song together in time. I started writing lyrics and it was just really cheesy. Kind of like, you guys are the greatest fans and all this stuff. And it just came out it wasn't up to Night Demon standards. So we ended up dropping it. But that's how far back this song goes.
The Heart of It All was I really like that idea. I still think that we should maybe revisit that idea at some point. It's pretty cool. It's about the Cleveland family and the scene and how much of a strong Night Demon scene there is there. And, it's like paying tribute to the fans and the people like Bill Peters that have helped this band out from the beginning and really helped us get to where we are now.
So The Heart of It All, the original working title for this song, a tribute to Cleveland and the fan base there. So you heard Armand mention Bill Peters, who listeners of this podcast should be familiar with. He was instrumental in breaking Night Demon in the Cleveland area, and this single was no exception. Bill Peters played the single as soon as it was released on his Metal on Metal radio show.
Night Demon. You've heard that band before? I think you might have heard them a couple times on this radio show. Night Demon from Ventura, California. Believe it or not, they have just released today, and we are going to feature that new single for you on the Metal on Metal show here in the first half hour of the program. So kind of in the tradition of Iron Maiden, I remember back when Iron Maiden was first getting going, especially when Bruce Dickinson joined the band, Number of the Beast, and they would put out a lot of singles and 12 inches, and the B-sides would have exclusive songs on them, lots of covers. I bought them all. They all had cool original artwork.
So Bill Peters continues to be a huge Night Demon supporter to this day. And the song started off as a tribute to all of the Cleveland fan base. But it didn't stay that way for long. Like Jarvis said, the lyrics just wouldn't flow, and it took a while until the song gradually evolved into something else.
See, this kind of things are very fluid with this band. Nothing is ever set in stone until it fucking comes out, or it actually, debuts, or it's written down or something like that. Ideas come and go, they change, they morph, and this is one of those. It was, we had been working on this song for a good while now. It took me a little while to kind of get my head around it. I always thought it was a little like too on the kind of punk side, because I didn't have the main riff for the song until, a long while after we started working on it. So at first I was just kind of playing chords along to it, and I guess the strumming pattern had kind of this punk gallop thing to it. It kind of turn me off a little bit, and I always kind of like try to write a riff, or it took me a while to come up with something that we all liked and that I liked. But once that riff came out, it definitely took care of all my reservations that I had about the song. The part where, in the pre-chorus, or I guess the chorus, that thing came pretty early on. I remember that high, or that kind of like triplet lick, I play under the whoa whoa part. To me, that was kind of a maideny kind of thing in my head, and that was there kind of early on, so that was cool. That gave it the metalness to it, and the intro riff as well. That was always kind of around. So
after the initial demo, the bridge section was. We did kind of like a hardcore breakdown. Like, I guess that stems from our hardcore punk roots. But it just, again, it was another thing that wasn't us. But it was good for us. It was an example of us trying to broaden our horizons and bring in other musical styles or musical elements from other genres into the metal that we do. It just, in the end, it worked out better for us dynamically to bring it down somewhere else. And that's what we ended up doing. it's cool to listen back to the hardcore breakdown there. That's where we really had some like tough guy gang vocals, but it just didn't suit the song so well.
Legion's Attack. Yeah, that idea. I'm not sure what that one was about.
So the next set of lyrics for the song, the second working title after Heart of It All was Legion's Attack. And I wrote these lyrics based on the current social media culture, the legions of keyboard warriors, basically. And I believe the first verse was, never thought I'd see the day I would hear you say, please go away from this place. We have returned like never before, no precious time to waste. And then the chorus was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. The trolling armies can't hold us back, preparing for Legion's attack. So basically what I was saying, it was kind of our comeback song after, not releasing music for a few years. And there had just been kind of this weird trend on social media that kind of made me get off of it for a while, where there'd just be a lot of shit talking about us. But I would see stuff from people and, they wouldn't tag us in it, thinking that we wouldn't see it. I was like, come on, have some balls if you're going to say something. And some of the stuff that really hurt me was like, I would see comments from people and be like, I know this fucking guy. This is like a friend of mine or something, and it was fucking insane. And so, we toured so much. I think there was this thing where certain people were kind of sick of it, maybe out of their own jealousy, just like, oh, these guys again. And so this was like kind of our comeback song and our way to kind of put our middle fingers back in the air to these people. But at the end of the day, I decided that we don't need to take that stance. Our music means more than that. We need to take a heavier stance on real issues. Like the record industry is a real issue that directly affects us. What people say online, hateful speech is just, we can't let that stuff bother us. And as long as people are talking about us, I guess that's what matters.
Hey guys, Nesbitt here. If you would like to support Night Demon and this podcast, the best way to do it is to become a Night Demon subscriber. Not only will you be doing your part to support a true heavy metal band out there really living it, you'll also gain access to a ton of extras. Bonus audio content, a subscriber-only merch store with rare items from the band's archives. You can stream never-before-heard demos and unearth live concerts from the live vaults. Communicate with the other Night Demon diehards on an exclusive subscriber forum, and gain early access to all press releases, album pre-orders, new merchandise, and a ton more. And another thing that I think is pretty cool is Night Demon will be donating 10% of every subscription fee to the Metal Cares Foundation, which is a charitable fund the band started in 2014 to aid those in our metal community. So head over to nightdemon.net/subscriber and join us as we make heavy metal history together as one. And on a side note, I'll personally think you're a grade A badass.
As I mentioned before, it was first called The Heart of It All, about our Cleveland fan base. Then it was called Legion's Attack, about the social media hate culture. For my third idea, I started writing a song called Burn for Them All. I read a book by Buzz Aldrin about the moon landing and stuff called Magnificent Desolation. And, say what you want if the moon landing was real or fake. I mean, this guy really believes it was real. He even punched a guy once, like in his old age. I think it was like in the last decade. He just knocked a guy out who said it was fake.
Why don't you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon?
You really like adventure, don't you?
You're the one who said you walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling the kettle black, if I ever thought of it. Saying I misrepresented myself.
Away from me.
You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
But anyway, it was a great read. It was a great book. And, I just started being fascinated by space travel, especially in that era of NASA. And it was just a really interesting story and very dangerous mission that these guys supposedly went on. So I started to write a song called Burn for Them All. It was just basically like burning for the earth. So it's like those rockets burning, for mankind, basically. And I got through about one verse of the song and just decided, man, this is not up to Night Demon standards.
Blast off, all systems go, shooting the light in the sky. Stand down, forget what is known, just the will to survive. Oh, rise up, answer the call. Oh, ready to burn for them all.
This is what it takes to write a great song. You got to go through the motions, but you have to try and you have to keep going. You got to stick with it until it becomes a great song.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny to think of the fact that we had a song called The Heart of It All and Legion's Attack and Burn for Them All. We were going to write a song for the Cleveland, Ohio fans and call it The Heart of It All. And it was going to be a song like this. And, I think there's something that either sticks with us or something that doesn't. And, we've never been the band to kick a dead horse. So if it doesn't come naturally and it's not something that flows, we're not really going to worry too much about forcing it. But the song did evolve quite a bit. I mean, it's crazy to listen back to old stuff and hear different ideas. And this song definitely had multiple versions, or maybe we grabbed certain parts from other songs that we wrote and put it into this song. I think that's what's cool about this track too, is I think when you listen to it the way it is, it sounds pretty simple. But I think to put all the ideas and parts into 2 minutes and 40 seconds is a hard thing to do. I'd much rather write a shorter song than a longer one, especially with people's, attention spans.
Empire's Fall, I think, comes in at 2 minutes and 43 seconds or 2:45, something like that. It's a quick get in and get out for us. We don't really like to milk the hook. We kind of just, when we have something to say, we go in and say it. And a lot of bands that I love in their later years, I find them repeating themselves a lot, not only musically, but in the actual song itself, just really repeating a lot of parts over and over again. And that's just not something that really ever interested us. There's plenty of records that are 30 minutes long that I think are great. And there's some that are 80 minutes long that I think could be cut down to 30 and it would be fine. I like to, if something's really good, I don't mind listening to it over and over again. And musically, I'm not going to say that we dumb things down, but we really write more for the songs instead of writing for ourselves as musicians. We still do challenge ourselves, but a lot of times in Night Demon music, you'll hear a part that musically may blow your mind, and you'll want to rewind to that and go, wait, what just happened there? That was a crazy time signature, or that was an odd shift to go from one part to another, or there's a really quick guitar lick or drum lick that's impressive to the ear, and we like that. That's the way we like to approach it. There's no need to water something down over and over again until you're blue in the face. There's many There's many songs that have been so good that I've gotten burnt out on over the years just because I've listened to the song 1,000 times. But I'd rather do that than listen to the song 100 times and get burnt out before, or listen to it once and love it, but get burnt out before the song's even over because it's just so repetitive. So repetitive nature has no place in the business of Night Demon.
So it's a really quick blaster to the point, but I feel like when I listen back on it, or when I listen back to it, it makes it feel a little longer. You know, it's a short song, but it has everything that you need in it. And I think that's kind of always been our formula, is to just be straight, quick, and to the point, kind of like that punk rock mentality, you know?
I guess it's pretty basic in its approach as a song. It's definitely a fast song. We've had a lot of fast songs before, but I think this one may even be the fastest one that we've done, which when it came down to recording the track, we were like, wow, man, this is going to be a challenge to play this and to play it tight enough.
The fact that we can put those ideas and make the song actually, you know, feel longer, I think that's something that's pretty unique and cool about our band. We know when all the elements are there, and we know when it's the right formula for that track. But I really like the way the song came out. You know, I like the breakdown, and I like the blistering madness of the track as a whole. You know, it's short and sweet, but it takes some energy to play.
So that's it for part 2 of Empire's Fall. I don't know about you guys, but for me, one of my favorite parts about doing this podcast, and really one of my favorite parts of really digging into any song, is seeing how a song grows and develops. And I know a lot of times I hear a song on an album and I wonder, like, how did they come up with that? Or how did this part come together? So doing these episodes is really pretty cool for me, personally, as a music fan, I hope you guys are enjoying like a look behind the scenes where we really get inside the songs and the stories behind them. In the subscriber section of nightdemon.net, there's pictures of the vinyl variants, the full-length Heart of It All original guitar and bass demo, the Heart of It All demo with the alternate bridge. There's a series of demos of Legion's Attack in different states of evolution, the aborted Burn for It All demo with the lyrics about space travel. There's a huge stash of demos and early recordings for Empire's Fall available in the subscriber section now. I also want to mention in the subscriber store on nightdemon.net, I think we might have one opaque light blue vinyl 7-inch single from Empire's Fall left, and it could be your only chance to snag one. So check that out, and while you're there, there's also a few Heart of It All t-shirts left. It's a shirt that commemorates the city that this song was almost about. It's a cool design though, and it's a pretty rare shirt. So, also stay tuned for more extremely rare collectible items that will show up there in the coming weeks. One-of-a-kind items that are part of Night Demon histories. I don't want to say too much about them, but stay tuned for that. We still have more to cover next week. We'll hear from John Paul Luna and also Matt Freeman and Lars Fredriksson from Rancid, and we'll completely break down the track, plus get into the story of the cover art and a lot more. Until next time, this is Nesbitt signing off.
Thanks for listening to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast. Head over to nightdemon.net, click on the subscriber tab, and sign up to access exclusive weekly bonus content. If you would like to donate to support the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast, you can do so through PayPal at paypal.me/nightdemonmetal. Additionally, if you have not already done so, please subscribe, like, rate, and review the show on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
All hail, Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast listeners. This is Dusty Squires chiming in to tell you about my brand new signature sticks from the London Drumstick Company. I've dreamt of having my very own drumsticks ever since I was a wee lad, and LDC made that a possibility for me. Founded in 2016 in London, England, the birthplace of heavy metal, the London Drumstick Company has trailblazed a path through the music industry and taken the drummer world by storm. When I met them for the first time, they knew their product was going to withstand the beatings of a Night Demon show. They took the time to work with me on getting everything just right. The balance and weight of my sticks are the same no matter what, and the durability is bar none the best I've ever had. I know my sticks will last through the set night after night. I'm truly honored to work with a company that caters to their players the way LDC does. Their innovation and attention to detail is what separates them from the rest of the stick makers out there. Their custom stick sleeves are unbelievable and really make the entire presentation complete. Wait until you see the design they came up with for me. It blew my mind and was a surprise to say the least. They have all kinds of amazing swag, including hoodies, t-shirts, drummer shorts, drum keys, stick bags, towels, face masks, practice pads, and much, much more. Even if you're not a drummer, you can be a part of Demon history and order my brand new signature sticks direct from their website. How cool is that? And to top it off, the London Drumstick Company are giving an exclusive offer to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast listeners. Go to londondrumsticks.co.uk and receive a 15% store-wide discount using promo code DEMONSTICKS. All capital letters, no spaces, Demon Sticks. DEMONSTICKS. I can't thank everyone there enough for the opportunity to be a part of their family and for them trusting me with their amazing products. See you metal maniacs on the road very soon. And yes, the wood chips will be flying.
Greetings, boils and ghouls. This is your comrade, the Crypt Keeper here, reporting dead from the sanctuary of the strange. Tonight's macabre myth is a fright-filled feature, one overflowing with monsters, madness, and magic.
Visit our website at monstersmadnessandmagic.com to stay up to date on all the dark dealings within the sanctuary of the strange. Enjoy the show.
Hey Metalheads, I'm Mark and I host the Metal Forge. Let me tell you about the show. The Metal Forge features the best underground metal from all over the world. We spend every week with a different artist with interviews, in-depth conversations, and most of all, the music. We also feature audience interactivity where you can submit your questions to the upcoming guests. New episodes are out every Friday at noon Eastern Time at metalforgeradio.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Want to know what's going on in the world of music? Then tune in to the Nothing Shocking podcast, a non-genre based, all-ages friendly rock and roll program. Join us weekly for interviews with all your favorite rock stars from the mainstream to the underground. You can find us at nothingshocking.libsyn.com or anywhere you download podcasts.
Okay, metalheads, you've been complaining that there has not been a channel that plays all of the heavy metal videos from past, present, and future for years and years at this point. Well, that time is over. Heavy Metal Television is back. HeavyMetalTelevision.net is the website. Go there. You can see videos playing 24/7, 365, all the time. All the best from the old school, the new school, and everything in between. Check it out, HeavyMetalTelevision.net. It is where the metal is.